I recently bought a SEGA F355 arcade machine. This is the single of a twin unit. And while I was waiting for it to get delivered, I did a bit of research and found out something quite interesting, which was the Japanese machines, most if not all, had VMU functionality, which would allow players to have their own Dreamcast VMU and connect it to the machines when they played, and they could save and race against their own ghost cars or other people's ghost cars if they were using someone else's VMU. The machines outside Japan didn't have this. I'm not sure why, but they still had the space where the Japanese ones would go. This unit was received as a blank spot where an arcade gear shifter on the goes, but I decided to install my own shifter. But on the Japanese models, this is where the VMU reader would go, and also there's a deluxe version of this machine, and the Japanese one I believe also had a VMU reader. I did a bit more research into it to see if this machine had the capabilities of reading VMU cards, and I found a few guys from America had done something similar, but it was to the larger machines, which is a 3-screen version, and they pointed me to the VMU readers, which is specifically for the Naomi. But a little bit more research, I found out that the Dreamcast controller is very similar, and also operates on the Maple bus, which is the same as the Naomi. So I thought I'd give it a try, as there's no information out there if this actually works. So this is actually the PCB from a Dreamcast controller. I've just removed the analog stick and the paddle, the left and right paddle shifts, so it's actually more neat, and mounted it on, and then cut the cable and put my own connector on it, and this goes into connector, I think it's 6. Yeah, connector 6 on the Naomi. We just copy those colouring to that connector. It actually works. So when the machine's on and you connect your VMU, this is what you should get. Should be. Then it'll display. This is Ferrari F355. To get this to work on the machine, you need to also enable it in the service menu. So if you go into the service menu and go to game test mode, then it loads up another Naomi multi-board service menu, and from there you're able to get more specific settings, and one of them is to enable and disable the visual memory unit. By default this will be unassigned for all the European units anyway. So there you go, that's the option there. It'd normally be off. If you just switch it on and go to exit, it's in game assignments, then exit from this screen, and also exit from the other service menu, then load up the game. Then once you've done that, when you restart the game, it will tell you that the visual memory unit's on the screen before you get to here, and also it will say this advertise the visual memory unit on the home screen. But I'll just show you what it actually does. I've already saved a ghost car on here, so you'll be able to see exactly what it does. Just turn it down a bit. You need to go to drive-in to get the ghost car, and it normally has a message there, I think I missed it, saying it's loading the data from the VMU, and it'll tell you there that's the VMU time. It doesn't matter what time's on the machine, that's what's saved on the VMU, and there you go, you can see my ghost. Sorry, I didn't have time there to show the last bit of the race where the machine asks if you want to save data to the VMU. this screen comes up before the screen where it asks you to put your in initials. On the VMU screen there's a yes no option and also an option to toggle on or off the driving data. It's something that I found that's worth noting is if you save driving data when you're in racing mode, the mode where you're racing against cars, it overwrites any ghost car you've got for that track with a blank file. It doesn't actually save the ghost car of your fastest lap on the race, it just saves nothing there. So when you go into the driving mode, you'll find that you've got no ghost car left. So just bear that in mind when you're saving data. It's probably not worthwhile saving anything to the VMU when you're in racing mode. This is my European copy of Ferrari 355 for the SEGA Dreamcast, and it's compatible with the VMU save from the F355 arcade machine. It is listed online as only working with the Japanese Dreamcast version of Ferrari 355, but I've tested it and it's fully compatible with the European one, and it may also be compatible with the American version as well. So I'll just show you a couple of the features that you get when you use your VMU save from the arcade machine and put it into the Dreamcast. Now I'll put both VMUs in because this is actually my VMU that I use for this game, and there's an interesting feature that you can do if you put both of them in. Okay, so if we go to driving data, and you go to load, VMU1 is the one from the arcade machine. So we'll just try Suzuka short, and we'll put that to data area 1. We'll load that. So if we go back, you can go to replay, and you can view your race, and it shows you all the braking angle, braking times, acceleration points. Change the view, and you can see the graphs here. That's your, I think that's your acceleration, and the wavy red lines is your braking point. And it's good for analysing ways to see how you can improve your time. If you come at that for a minute, there's also data analysis. I've not actually looked too much into this, but I guess it's something similar where you can view the track and you can go to different points. Anyway, if we go to load again, and we load the same track but from, it could even be this from another VMU that you've used in the arcade machine, but I'll just use the save that I've got from a SEGA Dreamcast, and we put that into data area 2. You can actually compare your racing cars. So the yellow one will be from the SEGA Dreamcast, and you can see and compare your two racing characteristics. So if each person had a different VMU for the arcade machine, you could essentially compare each other, and you can switch between the cars as well. So the audio will just be from the one that you've selected in the viewpoint, and you can zoom in and out as well. But it's interesting to see the different styles of racing and compare the braking points. Yeah, and you can rewind, fast forward to different points as well. And you can do it on the data analysis as well. So it's a really interesting feature if you're trying to get into the game and really improve your times, or even if, I don't know, you could copy the file and send it to a friend in another country and you could essentially race against him. You can put his ghost car on your machine and race against each other. So it's a really interesting feature that's not really well documented. I haven't seen any information about this, like specifically how to use the data on your Dreamcast. There is a few posters about it, but it's in Japanese and there's not a video about this. I think it's quite an interesting feature. And again, you could load up other tracks and compare each other. They've got, for data area 1 and data area 2, they have to be the same track. So I don't think you'll be able to load in a different track. I'll try though. Let's try Long Beach. Yeah. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so it's got to be the same track. But yeah, it's a really interesting feature. If anybody else has a F355 arcade machine, it's worthwhile modifying a controller to work with the machine and start saving your ghost cars, and also to analyse your tracks. Okay, cheers for that.